when we talk about a list of games that have some of the greatest comeback stories we've ever seen, that list is very, very short in my mind. Um, Guys, when we talk about games that start off very, very poorly, or they have very, very shaky launches with tons of bugs, glitches, things of that nature, and almost feel broken. And then over time, it just never gets better. The studio gives up on the title, and then they end up moving on to other IPs or other projects. This happens continuously in our industry. Well, that being said, there's a couple of games, and one that we're going to be talking about right here, that definitely have worked very hard to change that narrative. The first one was No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky started off very, very, poorly, lots of issues. I was very frustrated with it when I was playing the title, and because there was so much potential there. And the team over there continued to believe in the game. They kept updating, doing patches after patches to build this world to what they had envisioned it from the very beginning. And now, No Man's Sky, unbelievable. One of the greatest comeback stories ever in gaming history. I'm sure there's others, guys, but these are the two, at least in my mind. The second one is Cyberpunk 2077. This is a title that had so much hype, so much anticipation, so much pressure on CD Projekt Red coming off of the Witcher games. They, were coming out with a new IP altogether, something very new, something that could be, transcendent in a number of ways, and it launches early. They launched it early due to investor demand for wanting the game to come out quicker. They launched it too early, and what we got was a game that had so many issues. Even playing the game with all those issues, I saw underneath, and I know a lot of others out there, a lot of you out there saw something special there. CD Projekt Red had one of two things that they could have done. Number one, they could have just moved on to another IP, focused on The Witcher, left Cyberpunk 2077 there to die. Or number two is they could have said, you know what, we messed up. We shouldn't have launched it this early. Let's go ahead. Let's go back to the drawing board. Let's start implementing patches, updates, things of that nature. Let's stick to a roadmap. Let's make this thing happen. And they did. And I will tell you that I commend them in a massive way, because Cyberpunk 2077 is an incredible game that, underneath all the crap in the beginning, there was something special. In Cyberpunk 2077, and the folks over at CD Projekt Red, they saw that and they pushed it forward. I believe, guys, that Cyberpunk 2077 is the greatest comeback story we have ever had in video game history. And I'll tell you why. No Man's Sky was a game that had, a lot of excitement about it. They were talking about how big this world was and all of that. But the difference between No Man's Sky and Cyberpunk 2077 is one game was so highly anticipated, one of the most anticipated games of all time, that being Cyberpunk 2077. There was so much pressure on CD Projekt Red to deliver because of what they had done with the Witcher series. So much pressure, and yet they made a huge mistake releasing it early. Had all these bugs, all these glitches, especially when I was playing it on the Xbox. It was a disaster. But underneath all of it, I was like, man, this game, if they just didn't have all these bugs and glitches and stuff, it would be so amazing. And lo and behold, they believed in it, they pushed it forward, and now, guys, it is a absolute juggernaut of a game. And guess what? I think that as time goes, with future DLCs to the next game, if they ever decide to create another game, to a multiplayer experience, which they canceled, at least for the time being, to focus on the single player story, which I think was absolutely awesome. I think that they needed to pump the brakes on a multiplayer to focus on the single player story. Once that single player story is good to go, in terms of DLC and all of that, once all of that is solid and good to go, and they kind of get back to that whole roadmap, which I think they're at that point at this point in time, then I would say it's time for a multiplayer. it's time to continue building this thing because you invested so much into it and it started off so bad, and they kind of took on that adversity and they faced it and ran towards it. I mean, really, they did not run away from the adversity. They ran towards it, and look at where it is now. Unbelievable. And it just comes to show that those two titles are two titles that when you have a game and you believe in it and your community believes in it and you release it and it comes out shaky and there's a lot of issues at first, don't give up on your game. Keep on updating. Do what the community is telling you to do in terms of, hey, this is an issue, that's an issue, whatever it is. Put your team in place to a point where you're able to address the issues that come up, especially the more popular ones amongst fans. And if you do that and you build it you have that foundation and you continue building from there, you can make things unbelievable happen. And Cyberpunk 2077 is the greatest example of this that I could possibly give. The greatest comeback in video game history, in my personal opinion, guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think is the greatest video game comeback story ever? Do you think it was Cyberpunk 2077, No Man's Sky, or something else? Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more Cyberpunk 2077 content and videos, stay here with zrotv.